We continue in the 2021 season previews with the St. Louis Blues, a team who, after this season, it really could determine where they go. It really could, because this team, some people have them going towards and, oh, they're on a rebuild. Some of them having towards, oh, no, they can still contend for a Stanley Cup. That's the biggest question right now around this team. Since they won their cup in 2019, they have lost in the first round the past 2 years. So the Vancouver Canucks and to the Colorado Avalanche. Today we're going to look at their key departures, their key arrivals, their projected lineup, and ask ourselves the question we ask every team: will they make the playoffs? But first off, 900 subscribers. Wow. We are only 100 away. Less than 100 now at this point. We're only 95 away from 1,000 subscribers. Unbelievable. I've been doing this channel for nearly 2 years, put in thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of work, probably not thousands, but hundreds of hours of work into this channel and trying to make it the best content possible. And you guys have shown your support lately, and I've really, really appreciated it. So thank you guys so much. And if you ever already subscribed to help me on my push to 1K subscribers, I would really appreciate it if you did that. It's always been my dream to make it to 1,000. I'm going to keep doing it even after I get past 1,000, obviously. But yeah, anyways, I won't waste any more of your time, and let's get into the preview. I don't know what my mouth did there. So last season for the St. Louis Blues was an alright season. To be honest, they almost got pushed out by my Arizona Coyotes. The Coyotes were going on a win streak for a while. The Blues were starting to lose games, and then the Blues started winning games, and the Coyotes started losing games, and it all fell apart. So, that's painful. They were 27, 20, and 9 last season with 63 points. They were 15th overall in the NHL, but it didn't change a damn thing that happened in the playoffs. And you know what? If Arizona was in the playoffs, they probably would have lost to the same result. They were swept by what looked like, until they faced Vegas, the dominant Colorado Avalanche in 4 games. It was an insane series. It really wasn't close at all. Like, every game was 3-goal games. I don't think St. Louis had a lead in any of those games. They were down the entire time. Yeah, they just ran them over. And, it just goes to show that, this team lost a lot. And I think that, this team is way different than they were back when they won that cup a couple of years ago. It's sad, to be honest. And, this team is struggling to get past the first round now. And now Bill Armstrong, I can't remember. I get them mixed up because one of them GMs the Coyotes, the other GMs the Blues. He's asking himself, okay, so what do we do next? These teams are relatively close. I mean, with the Blues, they look like if they add more people, they can make it to the Cup. But since they have been losing lately, the question is, are they still contenders? The offseason shows that, yeah, we're still trying to go for another Stanley Cup, at least for the core that we have. But I don't think it's going to work. I think they should honestly just tear it all down, or they should reconsider the moves that they're making and maybe go a little bit younger with this team. Your key departures list for the St. Louis Blues consists of only 4 guys. So, not that bad. They lost Vince Dunn to the Seattle Kraken. That is a big hit on that blue line. A big hit. And, that blue line for a while there was pretty stacked and pretty underrated. It looked pretty good, to be honest. But now that you lost Vince Dunn, that's a problem. A big problem. You lose some good depth, and he's good. He's young, too. He was one of the only young guys on that roster. They also lost the top 6 forward in Jaden Schwartz. It was time to move on, honestly. It's going to suck not seeing him in the top 6. It's definitely going to hurt. But I think they got guys who are going to, replace him pretty well. They also lost Sammy Blaze in the Pavel Buchnevich trade earlier this offseason. And then they also lost Mike Hoffman, who was clearly just a one-and-done thing. It never really worked out too well in St. Louis. They were working on an extension, but then Montreal came in and was like, hey. But, Montreal did that a bunch of times this season. So they obviously lost Mike Hoffman, and this team went through some rough stuff. And I might as well just say it here, too. Their key arrivals list for the Blues, they acquired a big forward here in Pavel Buchnevich, who, when you look at the Rangers side of things, they had to move on, okay? Everyone's complaining about how, oh, why did we let go Buchnevich for a guy like Sammy Blais? Blais is a good young guy. He will be missed in St. Louis. He's a good bottom six, depth young guy. He probably won't even play that much this season. So people who are worried about it, don't be. And as for Buchnevich, I mean, he's getting paid a lot. And I mean, the Rangers are going to have Kakko coming up to sign. They're going to have Lafreniere coming up to sign soon. Like, they have players that they need to re-sign, so they have to let go of a guy like Buchnevich. And I mean, sure, they could have gotten back more for him, but then again, the better player you get, he's probably getting paid more. So, or if not, he's going to be getting paid more. So, it's a problem with that. So I think Buchnevich is a good acquire for the Blues. They also acquired Brandon Saad, who ironically scored all the goals against them for the Colorado Avalanche. It's weird. But he'll probably be playing bottom 6 minutes. I can't imagine seeing him on the top 6. They also acquired some depth guys. These are all depth. Tommy Cross, Calle Rosen, Charlie Lindgren, Matthew Pekka, and Nathan Todd. So all those guys, solid. Not that bad of depth to add to the roster. I mean, they lost a little bit of it with Blais and, Schwartz. So they acquired some guys back, but there's still some problems with this team relatively. So your projected lineup for the St. Louis Blues consists of, on that first line, you have Braden Shen, Ryan O'Reilly, and Vladimir Tarasenko. Then you have David Perron, Oscar Sundqvist, and Pavel Buchnevich for your top 6. So that's a solid top 6. You got a good two-way captain in O'Reilly, a solid forward in Shen already. And if Tarasenko can find his goal scoring again, although a trade is definitely possible to occur, that looks pretty good for St. Louis. And then as for the second-line center, Sundqvist, the depth on the center core is not really there, but I still think he's a solid, underrated forward. And I mean, Perron's still underrated. Perron's still decent. Buchnevich obviously going to be playing on that solid team. He'll do solid with the Blues. So yeah, I'd say that top 6 is overall pretty solid. As for your bottom 6, you have, for your third line, Brandon Saad, Ivan Barbashev, and Jordan Kyrou. Then you have Zach Sanford, Robert Thomas, and Zach McEachern. And as for your filling guys, you have Kyle Clifford, Klim Koskin, McGing, and Jake Neighbors. So those are all your guys on the forward core there. So as for the bottom 6, Kyrou will definitely get top 6 minutes. I can't imagine he doesn't. He will throughout this season. But I still think that's solid. Having a veteran like Brandon Saad on there to help out a guy like Kyrou and some other guys that are rising up for this roster, it's going to help. It's most definitely going to help. And that blue line has some good grit. Sanford's there. Kyle Clifford will definitely come up and play if he has to. And I mean, guys like Klim Kostin and Jake Neighbors, they're going to get chances. Most definitely. Most definitely Klim Kostin, because I have a lot of faith in Kostin, and I have a lot of faith in Jake Neighbors. So we're going to see these guys play, and we're going to see how they're going to do. As for your blue line core, you have Torrey Krug and Justin Falk, Marco Scandella and Colton Parayko. Then you have Mikkola and Bertuzzo as your third pairing. Then you have Wallman, Santini, and Perunovic as your fill-in players. So looking at that roster, I say it's pretty good. They may want to acquire some more depth on the blue line. Losing Vince Dunn definitely puts a hole there, because Dunn would be where Scandella is right now, and that defense would be fairly stacked. But now it's a lot weaker, and that's a problem, because you have Krug and Falk as basically your best guys. Falk, a pretty underrated defenseman. He definitely deserves some recognition. But, that's the blue line is really the only thing that scares me relatively. And as for your goaltending, I've been very vocal about how I feel about Jordan Binnington on this team, on this roster. There's Binnington and Hughes, so obviously as the tandem. But I feel like Binnington, that's going to bite him in the ass. It already has, to be honest. And that could be a problem this coming season, depending on how you look at it for the Blues. So as for their offense, it's all right. I think the top 6 is very solid. The bottom 6, they may want to acquire maybe some more depth a little bit, but I think it's pretty solid as well. Their defense, it's worrisome, and their goaltending is also worrisome, in my opinion, because I don't see a guy like Binnington leading this team. And some people will criticize me in the comments. That's probably one of the most controversial things I've said. But I think Binnington is honestly overrated, and his contract is a way overpay. And to be honest, he hasn't really been the Binnington we all know since that 2019 Cup run. And now for the final question, the question that I've been asking myself so much. Do they make the playoffs? Now, in that Central Division, that division is going to be competitive. no denying. You have the Avalanche, you have the Jets, you have the Stars, you have the Wild, you have the Blackhawks if they somehow make it, the Preds, the Blues, and then there's the Coyotes down at the bottom at 8th. I have the Blues 7th in my predictions for the Central. So, no, I don't see them making the playoffs. I mean, they could. They very well could. If they could, I won't deny it. I'll be like, all right, they proved me wrong. Not a lot of people do that, so, because I'm always right. Anyways, no, I'm not. But I don't see them making it. I don't see them with this competitive division and their aging core. I don't think they're going to make it. So, you can say what you want about that, but I don't see it. So thank y'all for watching. For our support as late, I really, really, really do appreciate it. We're going to keep making this content. Tomorrow is the Seattle Kraken and the San Jose Sharks season preview if I actually wake up. Yeah, I'm gonna get all these previews done. I promise. But anyways, thank y'all for watching. For our support as of late, and I will see you guys in the next video.